Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed Dear Deported Part 1, and in the today's session, we will be discussing the remaining dialogues which we are left with. And let me give you a close summary of what has happened. After Abel Merriweather has passed away, Emilia and Henry Slater think of replacing the bureau with chest of dryers and some other things like fancy clock. While replacing the bureau, Victoria interrupts. Right after the replacement, Ben and Elizabeth come in. Now let's continue the remaining dialogues. Mrs. Jordan. Well, Emilia, and so he's gone at last. Explanation for this. Emilia, so he has passed away finally, says Elizabeth. Then Elizabeth says like this again. Yes, he's gone. He was 72 a fortnight last Sunday. She sniffs back a tear. This means Emilia said that, yes, he was dead. She added that he was 72 years and 50 days old last Sunday. She sniffed and held her tears. Next, Ben. Cheaply. Now, Emilia, you must not give away. We have all got to die sometime or other. Here Ben spoke in this Chipley voice. Here Chipley means in a cheerful manner. He asked Emilia not to cry. Everyone must die one day or the other. Their father died peacefully and so they should not cry for him. Next, Mrs. Jordan. And now perhaps you will tell us what all about it. Here Mrs. Jordan's opinion is, perhaps you will tell us now of what has happened, says Elizabeth to Emilia. Mrs. Slater. Father had been married this morning. He went out soon after breakfast to pay his insurance. Here, to which Emilia responds yes, he was lively this morning and went out to pay his insurance after the breakfast. Then Ben. My word, it's a good thing he did. Here Ben's opinion is, it's a good thing that he went to pay his insurance. Here he represents Abel Merriweather. Then Mrs. Jordan added, he always was thoughtful in that way. He was too honorable to have gone without paying his premium. An explanation for this is, Elizabeth said that their father had been thoughtful in such things. He was an honorable man and he could not have died without paying the insurance premium. Henry. And when I came in, I found him undressed, sure enough, and snug in bed. Here snug means warmth and comforted. Henry said that when he came home, he found their father in his nightdress, fast asleep and snug in the bed. Mrs. Slater. And when we had finished dinner, I thought I would take up a bit of something on a tray. He was lying there for all the world as if he was asleep. So I put the tray down on the bureau, correcting herself on the chest of drawers, and went to waken him. Why she corrected herself, Amma? Did you guess? Because already she replaced the bureau with chest of drawers. That's why she correcting herself. Here Emilia added that when they had finished eating dinner, she had thought of taking something for their father in a tray. Their father was lying as if he was asleep, and so she placed a tray on the bureau. She corrected herself and said, chest of drawers, as later she had replaced the bureau with it. She said that she had gone to wake him up. She paused and then continued that his body was cold. She paused, wiped her tears and sniffed to hold them back. Mrs. Slater, rising briskly at length in a business-like tone. Well, will you go up and look at him now, or shall we have tea? Here, Emilia's opinion is, Emilia stood up in a professional manner and asked whether They would like to go upstairs to have a look at their father's dead body, or would they have tea? Here they means Mrs. Jordan and Ben Jordan. Mrs. Jordan, what do you say, Ben? Mrs. Jordan asked her husband about his opinion. Then Ben say like this, I'm not particular. He didn't say anything to his wife. He gave both the options to her. Mrs. Jordan, surveying the table, well then, if the kettle is ready, we may as well have tea first. Mrs. Slater puts the kettle on the fire and gets tea ready. Here, Elizabeth checked out the table and said that as the kettle of tea was ready, they might have tea first. Amelia placed the kettle on the fire to get it ready for them. Henry, one thing we may as well decide now is the announcement in the papers. Here, Henry suggested that they should decide upon the advertisements that they had to get printed in the newspaper regarding the death of Abel Merriweather. Then Mrs. Jordan answered, I was thinking of that. What would you put? A pause. Here, Elizabeth said that she had been thinking of that and asked him the details of what would be printed about her father's death. Again, Mrs. Jordan, well, we'll think about it after tea and then we'll look through his bits things and make a list of them. There's all the furniture in his room. Now Elizabeth ended the topic and said that they would decide on it after they had tea. They would also check out their father's possessions and draw a list of them. She said that he had a lot of furniture which was kept in his room. Then Henry said like this, there's no jewelry or valuables of that sort. This means Henry said that their father did not have any jewelry or such valuables in that room. Mrs. Jordan, except his gold watch, he promised that to our Jimmy. Here, Elizabeth added that her father had a gold watch. He had promised her son Jimmy to have it after his death. Here, Jimmy is Elizabeth Jordan's son. Then Mrs. Slater said like this, promised you, Jimmy? Never heard of that. Actually, Amelia doubted her sister and said that she had never heard of anything of such sort. Mrs. Jordan, oh, but he did, Amelia. When he was living with us, he was very fond of Jimmy. Fond of means interest here. And like. Now Elizabeth replied that her father did say that when he had been living with them, he liked Jimmy a lot. So he promised for giving that watch to Jimmy. Next, Mrs. Slater. Well, I don't know. Amelia answered to her sister. She amazed and said that she knew nothing about it. Ben, anyhow, there is his insurance money. Have you got the receipt for the premium he paid this morning? Explanation for these lines is Ben added that there was the insurance policy also. He asked if the Slaters had the receipt of the premium which their father had paid that morning. Then Mrs. Slater answers, I haven't seen it. Victoria jumps up from the sofa and comes behind the table. Here, Amelia said that she had not seen the receipt which was paid by her father. Next, Victoria stood up from the sofa and walked up to the table where Amelia was seated. Next, Victoria said like this, Mother, I don't think Grandpa went to pay his insurance this morning. Here, Victoria's opinion is, she said that her grandfather might not have paid the insurance that morning. Then Mrs. Slater, he went out. Here, Amelia thinks that he went out of the house in this morning. Then Victoria say like this, yes, but he did not go into the town. He met old Mr. Tattersall down the street and they went off past St. Philip's Church. These lines means Victoria said, "Yes, but he did not go to the town. Instead, he met the old Mr. Tattersall down the lane and then they walked off past the church." Next, Ben. "Do you think he hasn't paid it? Was it overdue?" Here Ben asked whether she thinks he had paid or not. Was the bill due for payment and had not been cleared by their father? Mrs. Slater, "I should think it was overdue." Here Emilia said that she thought it was due for payment. Then Mrs. Jordan, "Something tells me he's not paid it." Here Elizabeth supported Emilia on this and said that she had an intuition that their father had not paid it. Then Ben, the drunken old beggar. Ben was angry and commented that their father was a drunken old beggar. Next, Mrs. Jordan. "He's done it on purpose, just to annoy us." Here, purpose means intentionally, annoy means irritate. Elizabeth actually added that he had done so intentionally just to irritate them. Here, he means our Abel Merriweather. Then Mrs. Slater, "After all I have done for him, having to put up with him in the house these 3 years is nothing short of swindling." Swindling means cheating, Amma. Emilia said that her father had cheated her in return for the hard work and dedication she had done in the last 3 years. She felt like that, Amma. Mrs. Jordan, "I had to put up with him for 5 years." Mrs. Jordan answers to her sister, "She had to bear him in her house for 5 long years." Mrs. Slater, "And you are trying to turn him over to us all the time." This means Emilia said that all that while Elizabeth had tried to push him over to their house. Here there means Mrs. Slater and Henry Slater's house. Next, Henry joined with them. Henry, "But we don't know for certain that he's not paid the premium." Here, Henry interrupted them and said that they did not know for certain if he had paid the insurance premium that morning or not. Then Mrs. Slater calls to her daughter, "Victoria, run upstairs and fetch the bunch of keys that's on your grandpa's dressing table." Explanation for these lines. Emilia asked Victoria to run up the stairs and get the bunch of keys which were lying on her grandfather's dressing table. Here Victoria say like this, "In grandpa's room." Here Victoria timidly in a manner that shows a lack of courage of confidence. Timid means lack of courage or confidence. Victoria asked that she had to go to her grandfather's room. She could not gather the courage to go there as she feared that his dead body was lying inside the room. Why? Because she is too little girl. That's why she felt like that. Then Mrs. Slater answers, "Yes." Next, Victoria, "I don't like to." Here Victoria resisted and said that she did not like to go there. Mrs. Slater, "Don't talk so silly. There is no one who can hurt you." Victoria goes out reluctantly. Reluctant means not willing. "We'll see if he's locked the receipt up in the bureau." Here Emilia scolded her for talking silly things. She said that there was no one there who could hurt her. Here her indicates Victoria. Victoria went out of the room hesitantly. Emilia said that they could check if their father had kept the receipt in the locked drawers of the bureau. Then Ben catches her words. Then he asks like this, "Ben, in this thing," he rises and examines it. Here, Ben asked in which drawer would have he locked it and asked if it was the same drawer that's in their room by pointing towards it. He then walked up to the bureau to examine it. Then Mrs. Jordan also rising. Where did you pick that up, Emilia? Is new since last I was seen here. They examined it closely. Here it means the bureau. Elizabeth also stood up and asked Emilia that. Where did she buy the bureau from, as it was a new and wasn't there when she had last visited them. The Jordans inspect the bureau closely. Then Mrs. Slater answers like this. Oh, Henry picked it up one day. Now Victoria returns very scared. She closes the door after her. Emilia said that Henry had bought it one day. Victoria returned from her grandfather's room. She was scared and shut the door behind her. Victoria, mother, mother. Here Victoria called out to her mother. Then Mrs. Slater, what is it, child? Here Emilia asked her, what was it? And she asked the reason why she calling like that. Victoria, Grandpa's getting up. Victoria said that her grandfather was getting up. Her means Abel Merriweather was awakened. Then Ben, what? Here Ben was shocked and asked what she was saying. Mrs. Slater, what do you say? Now Elizabeth also asked and shocked what Victoria was saying. Next, Victoria, Grandpa is getting up. She again said like this. Then Mrs. Jordan, the child's crazy. Elizabeth, after hearing Victoria's words, she said that like this. She might be crazy. She might got mad. That's why she is speaking like this. Here she means Victoria. Next, Mrs. Slater. Don't talk so silly. Don't you know your grandpa is dead? Emilia said to Victoria, not to talk so silly things. She asked her that. Did she not know that her grandfather was dead? Then Victoria, no, he is getting up. I saw him. They are transfixed with amazement. Victoria clings to Mrs. Slater. Here Victoria said that he was getting up. She saw him get up. All of them were shocked. Victoria held her mother tightly because of fear. Now Ben, suddenly, hiss, listen. Here hiss is an interjection word. Ma. They looked at the door. A slight chuckling is heard from upstairs. The door opens, revealing an old man clad in a faded but gay dressing gown. He is in his stockinged feet. Although over 70, he is vigorous and well colored. His bright, malicious eyes twinkle under his heavy, reddish grey eyebrows. He is obviously either the old man Abel Merriweather or else his ghost. Explanation for this is Ben spoke softly and signaled everyone to remain silent and listen. Everyone looked towards the door. A slight sound of laughter was heard beyond the door. The door opened and an old man wearing a faded but colorful dressing gown entered. He wore stockings in his feet. Despite being above 70 years of age, he was energetic and wore colorful clothes. His bright, naughty eyes were shining under the thick, reddish brown colored eyebrows. He was either Grandfather Abel Merriweather or his ghost. Now we'll go through the glossary part and I read them out. You should listen carefully and write them on your notes. First, cheaply means cheerful or actively. Give away, to collapse. Thoughtful means serious. Snug means comfortable. Waken means to awake. Particular means specific. Put means to express something in words. Fond of means liking or affection. Annoy means disturb or irritate. Put up with someone means to accept or continue to accept an unpleasant situation. Swindling means to do fraud. Scared means having fear. Crazy means mad out of control. Transfixed means motionless. Clinch means to hold very tightly. Amazement means wondered. Chuckling means a quiet laugh. Clad means dressed. In his stockinged feet means wearing only socks or stockings and not shoes. Malicious means intended to warm or upset other people. Thrust means a push. Retreat means to go to a quiet safe place in order to avoid it. And let me tell you some antonyms from this part. Jolly, sad. Regrettable, joyful. Solemnly, cheerful. Merry, sad. Particular, general. Valuables, trifles. Fond of, dislike. Annoy, please. Swindling, honesty. Timidly, courageously. Silly, sensible. Reluctantly, willingly. Hurt, soothe. Cleanse, relinquish. Revealing, hiding. Vigorous, feeble. Now I'll tell you some comprehension passages. Actually, last year model papers we got this type of comprehension passages. We will get a comprehension passage from any A reading with 5 comprehension questions in the examination. From these comprehension passages, we will get 2 of the questions can be factual and the remaining can be of higher order thinking skills. Here is the passage. Now look into the passage carefully and read it yourself and comprehend yourself. Now answer the following questions. Here first question is, what must Mrs. Slater give away? Do you guess? Here is the answer. Worrying about her father's death. Mrs. Slater worrying about her father's death. Next question. What was the nice thing done by the father according to Ben? After reading the passage twice or thrice, you might easily answer these questions. I'll repeat the question. What was the nice thing done by the father according to Ben? Answer is paying the insurance premium. Next, third question. He was too honorable to have gone without paying his premium. By saying this sentence, Mrs. Jordan believes that. Here we have 3 options. A. He paid the insurance premium. B. He did not pay the insurance premium. C. He had gone without paying the insurance premium. Here, A is the correct answer. He paid the insurance premium. Next question. He was quite cold. This sentence indicates A. The headache of the father. B. The drunken state of the father. C. The death of the father. Here C. The death of the father. Fifth question. Where did Mrs. Slater put the tray really when she entered the room of her father? A. On the mantelpiece. B. On the bureau. C. On the chest of drawers. Here B. On the bureau. Next, look at the part of the play and read it. Now answer the following questions. First question. Which sentence shows the indifferent nature of the characters toward the dead man? I'll repeat the question. Which sentence shows the indifferent nature of the characters towards the dead man? Answer. Well, will you go up and look at him now, or shall we have tea? This sentence indicates their nature. Next question. What is the announcement about? Obituary. Here obituary means death. The announcement about the Abel's Meriwether's death. Next, third question. Who is Jimmy? Here we have three options. A. Son of Emilia. B. Grandson of Abel. C. Brother of Ben. Here B is the correct answer. Grandson of Abel. Next question. The bits of things in this passage refer to. The bits of things in this passage refer to A. The assets and belongings of the father. B. The kettle and the whole chest of drawers. C. Jewelry and ornaments. Here A is the appropriate answer. The assets and belongings of the father. Next question. Which of the following is a true statement basing on the given passage? Here A. The Jordans did not go upstairs because they could not see the old man death. B. The Jordans thought it was a custom to divide the things of the father before seeing the dead body. C. The Jordans wanted to see the dead body because they gave importance to their share of the father's property. Here, see the next part of the play, Amma. And now answer the following questions. First question. Who is the drunken old beggar? Who is the drunken old beggar? Here, Abel Meriwether is the drunken old beggar. Already we know. In the sense of Ben. Next question. Why does Ben call the person the drunken old beggar? Answer. Because Ben believes that Abel did not pay the insurance premium. Next, third question. Victoria knows. Here are the options. A. He has not paid the insurance premium. B. He has already paid the insurance premium. C. He will pay the insurance premium. Here A is the correct answer. That is, he has not paid the insurance premium. Next question. Abel went out. Here A. To pay his insurance premium. To meet Mrs. Sherlock's. C. To meet Mr. Tattersall. Next, fifth question. It is not certain that. Here A. He has paid the insurance premium. B. He has met Mr. Tattersall. C. He went out. It is not certain that. Answer is he has paid the insurance premium. Now have a look into the next part of the play and read it carefully. Now answer the following questions. First question is, why does Victoria not like to go to Grandpa's room? Why does Victoria not like to go to Grandpa's room? Answer is, she was made believe that Grandpa was dead. Next question is, who picked up the bureau really? You all know, Abel picked up the bureau really. Next question, where was the receipt locked according to Mrs. Slater? Here is the option. A. In the old chest of drawers. B. In the bureau. C. In the kitchen. Here B is the appropriate answer. That is in the bureau. Okay. Next question. Why was Victoria very scared? Here we have three options. A. She saw the grandpa was getting up. B. She saw the bureau in their room. C. She could not find the insurance premium receipt. Here A is the correct answer. That is, she saw the grandpa was getting up. Next question. Mrs. Slater thinks that Victoria is a silly girl. Here A is, as she tells that Grandpa is getting up. B, as she could not find the receipt. C, as she refuses to go upstairs. Here A is the correct answer. That is, as she tells that Grandpa is getting up. With this, we have finished Dear Departed Part 1, and we will discuss Dear Departed Part 2 in the next session. Thank you.